Greetings video editors of all levels. This is a mini crash course on Premiere Pro. We're going to do it in about 10 minutes. Let's jump in. So first on my screen, as you can see, Adobe actually have a free trial available if you want to download and follow along or save it for a later date. So let's begin by opening Premiere Pro. I've already got it. It's loading up right now. Perfect. So this is the welcome screen on Premiere Pro. To begin, you will click New Project. Then you're going to name your project. I'm going to leave mine as Test. And then you choose a location. And once you've saved a location, you click Create. This is the welcome screen in Premiere Pro. If your screen doesn't look similar to mine, go over to Window, click Workspaces and click on Editing. After you clicked Editing, under Workspaces, your Premiere Pro should look like this. I'm going to then begin by importing some footage, but before I do that, I'm going to go down here and click on New Bin. And then I'm going to type in footage. And then within that folder, I'm going to click Command I to import my footage. Once you've got your footage imported, you can then drag it onto the timeline, and the timeline is essentially where we put all of our footage together, music, effects, etc. So let's begin by dragging the first clip on. As you can see, our timeline's now loaded up. What I'm going to do then after that is import my second clip into my timeline, and now if I play that, you can see we have a video, and then it should cut into the next clip any second. Perfect. So as you can see, we have two clips within our timeline ready to go. To begin editing, I'm going to show you how to do a cut. So you can choose the starting point and the ending point of each of your clips. So to begin, I'm going to cut here. I'm going to click Command K on my keyboard to cut. And then as you can see, we're actually left with this blank space in between the start of our video and the start of the timeline. So then what you can do is actually select that blank space and click Delete on your keyboard, and it will delete the blank space and put your video at the start of the timeline at 0. And then I'm going to cut the next clip here. Again, Command K on your keyboard. Perfect. I want to add a bit of an intro so it doesn't just start straight on the shot. So what I'm going to do is go over to Effect Controls, and I'm also at 1 second on my timeline, and then selecting the clip, I then under Effect Controls can select this stopwatch next to opacity, and opacity basically stands for how visible that item is on screen. If it's at 100%, it's 100% visible. If it's at 50%, it's 50% visible. If it's at 10%, it's not very visible, you know, and so on. So adjust that to your needs. Anyway, in this scenario, like I said, we're going to click the stopwatch. That's going to create a keyframe at 100%. So then we're going to go over to the start of our video clip, and then we're going to make another keyframe, but this time at 0%. So as you can imagine, that's going to create a fade. Perfect. So now we've got a video with a fade. and as you could see, it cuts into the next clip. However, this cut could be better. Let's go to the effects tab and type in cross dissolve, and what this will do is fade between our clips. And as you can see, we now have a fade between our clips. I actually want to add a bit of a zoom onto my first clip because it's feeling rather static. So what I'm going to do is at the start of my clip, I clicked the up shortcut on my keyboard just then to move to the start of the clip. You can also click the down arrow to move to the next clip. So left, up and down takes you right. So at the start of my clip, I'm going to create a scale keyframe, and then right towards the end, I'm going to create another keyframe at 120 and drag that to the end of my clip. And now, as the video plays, I now have a zoom effect. Amazing. So I actually also want to add some text to my video. So what I'm going to do is actually click off of the clip I'm on now, go to the start of the timeline, click T on my keyboard, and that's going to give me the text cursor. And then what I do is I drag a text box onto the screen, and then I can type ocean. And then over here I can adjust the font. I'm going to choose Helvetica as it's a strong classic, and then I'm going to center it, and then I'm also going to make sure the text is actually a bit bigger before we continue. So let's make it 150. And then I'm actually going to make the text box the same height as the text itself, because then under the properties text tab, we can actually go to align and transform and click this one, which will align center horizontally our text. And then we can also go to this one, which will align center vertically our text. And now, as you can see, we have our text in the middle of the screen. Great. Just to wrap up, to show you one more thing before we exit this tutorial today, I'm going to import a track I have, and then I'm going to drag my audio onto my timeline. Then I'm going to trim it down to the same length as my video clips. And then if we play, we should have a video with video, text, and music. So my audio is actually redlining just a bit. So I'm actually going to turn it down just slightly. So under level, if you could type in 5. And then I'm going to drag my audio into my timeline, going to trim it down to the same length as my video clips. Then I'm going to play it. As you can see, we now have it. As you can see, we now have a video with a video, text, music, and a transition. And that's a wrap for today's crash course on Premiere Pro. I completely freestyled this one to just give you a real authentic experience in Premiere Pro. There's no teleprompt, there's no script, not even a bullet point. So literally just freestyled it to kind of give you a real experience of just being a new user in the software and what you can achieve in about 10 minutes or so. You know, so we made text, we created our timeline with footage and a transition in between those footages. We also added a fade at the start in the intro. We also added some music. So we actually made a complete video within this crash course. Hopefully you guys followed along okay. Make sure you subscribe for more Premiere Pro tutorials. There's a load of them on the channel already. There's also some presets available in the description to help you speed up your editing workflow, all for Premiere Pro. And I will catch you guys in the next one.